Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for Steel City Speedsters event, Highway to Help 2026. We are ready with our run here of Final Fantasy Legend 2, the Glitchless Fast category, everyone's favorite Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy Legend 2, and it will be run by Foxy. Foxy, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Alright, so I'm just going to scramble RNG while I intro this game here, everybody. Hello, I'm Foxy. This is Final Fantasy Legend 2. Despite what you just heard from Threach, it's not actually a Final Fantasy game, it's a Saga game. We don't talk about early 90s Final Fantasy naming. This was originally for the Game Boy. I'm playing on the Collection of Saga release on Steam, which has a couple of lovely features. Notably, you can play it at 2 times speed, which makes it twice as fast. Before I actually get fully started into the run, I did want to give a little warning. This is an old game. It does occasionally have double flashing lights. I will try to call them out when we're about to get into them, but if you're watching, just be aware of that. And that is the intro. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the title screen here, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the run here in 3, 2, 1, go. So we're going to pick our main character, a human female. Threach, what do we have as our first name from that bit war? Who is our main character in this game?
The first character we're going to see is the birthday character themselves. DEG, all caps, Deg.
Deg, wonderful. So this game starts out on, I think, canonically Deg's birthday. It's a couple years after Deg's dad left the house out of her bedroom window to go get milk, I think. I don't know. Some weird brand of milk called Magi, which are made out of 77 pieces of an ancient statue that give whoever finds them the power of the gods. Sounds like a very bougie milk to me. So we're going to be looking for him. We want to take 3 of our friends with us. So Threach, who are our 3 friends?
All right, our 3 friends. In addition to that, the next one will be Yels, Y-E-L-S. That's all lowercase.
Oh, all lowercase. All righty.
Y-E-L-S.
Yels,
that's right.
Congratulations, you're an imp. And our third character?
Our third character is going to be Yinz, Y-I-N-Z.
Capital or lowercase?
It's all lowercase. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
And who is going to be our final character? Who's going to be our robot?
All right, our robot tonight is going to be triple dot, ellipsis. It's just going to be 3 dots.
Oh man, you might have known that you can put periods in the character name. So right off the bat, we're going to be unequipping Deg. Sorry, Deg. And we're going to head out looking for our dad. We're going to be joined up here by our sensei, Mr. S. He's an octopus. Don't worry about it. And he tells us we need to go through the Cave of North, which, shockingly, is north. So Mr. S, or Sensei, is our guest character right now, and guest characters in this game are a blessing and a curse. A blessing in that the early guest characters can pretty much solo everything. A curse in that running away from encounters in this game is determined by your party's average agility, and having a 5th character tends to bring the average down. So we will win fights, but we also might fail to run, which is slower than running, as you're seeing right here, right now. So fortunately, this game does have a mechanic where if a character gets KO'd in combat, it becomes easier to run. This game uses the old-fashioned system you see in a lot of RPGs, where your party order determines who gets attacked. So the character in the first slot, which is Deg, gets attacked the most often. The character in the second slot gets attacked the second most often, and so on. So I hate to break this to you, Deg, but the first half of this run is going to be a lot of you getting knocked out by monsters. So that we can run away. So we are going to meet the Guardian of this World Key. We're going to ask her where we can find the Magi that our dad went looking for. Magi is presumably milk, I don't know. I haven't read the plot of this game in ages. And she tells us that there's a hidden relic of the gods in the forest to the south, and tells us how to find it. So we're going to go there. So like any good old-school RPG, this has a lot of running away from random encounters. So when I get into a big spot of running away from random encounters, this is going to be a great job for you, Threach, to let us know if you have any hosting information you want to let people know about. So I'll give you the first one right here.
I'm so excited. I also love that this game says to you, right on. Like, that's celebratory. It's so good. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who's donated so far. We've raised technically over $560, and that was helped out in part with a $50 donation from Yellsrake that says, "Let's go SCS crew. So excited for a fun weekend of speedruns for a great cause. Also, happy birthday. I want to be in the party with you." And we've got $25 from Faye, who says, "Go Foxy." And as a reminder to everyone, we are raising money this weekend to benefit the Hugh Lane Wellness Foundation. It offers a variety of services and resources to our communities, as well as expert training for organizations to improve their capacity to serve LGBTQ clients and staff. We're so excited to partner with them for this charity marathon this weekend, so I hope you will consider donating. You can use !donate in chat to get that information.
All right, so we just met the worst guards ever. They just took the treasure out of those chests they were supposed to guard and put it into chests in the next room. So we're just going to go into the next room and pick it up. And, not that one, that one. Now is a good time to talk about how the different races in this game work, because we need to understand robots. Because robots, in this case Ellipsis, are how we're going to break this run in half. So, Saga, which is the series that Final Fantasy Legend II is a part of, is essentially the alternate universe where Final Fantasy II was the direction that the entire series stayed in. So most characters get their stats just randomly after combat. You attack, you get strength, you use magic, you get magic, and so on. I don't need to go to town yet. Robots were added to this game from the first one, and they're a bit different. Oop, we need a key. Okay, more time to explain robots. So robots don't get stats directly from fighting. Instead, when you equip robots, they just get stats based on the total sum of the equipment you have onto them. So what we're going to do is we're going to put every piece of agility gear that we find into this run onto our robot. And what that's going to do is that's going to turbocharge our robot's agility. And if you've ever run into the old RPG design issue of speed is the best stat, this is one of the most egregious examples of it. By tossing all of the... Also, this is Ashura's base. He's having a zombie dance party right now. It's a sick zombie rave in here. We need to not get hit by these zombies, and it's actually very hard to dodge them on fast speed. Oh. So by putting every piece of agility gear that we find onto our robot's going to pretty much act first in every combat. But agility also affects the damage output of agility weapons, so our robot's going to hit, like, approximately 8 trucks. And by increasing our robot's agility so quickly, we're eventually going to skew our party's average agility so high from the robot alone that we'll be able to run away from every encounter if we don't have a guest. And all we have to do is just toss every bit of agility gear onto our robot. And the reason we take a female human as the main character is they start with the best piece of agility gear you can actually get at this point in the game, a rapier. Oop, these guys are trying to body me here. They have a nice little zombie cafe, and we're going to have a little mini-boss here, which is a rhinoceros, and we're just going to attack the rhinoceros with a pistol and thunder. And this is... Oh no, the robot missed. This is somehow going to cause the base to collapse. I don't know how that works, but I'm not an engineer, so... If there's anyone who's an engineer who can tell me how defeating a rhino causes the building to become structurally unstable, I'd like to know. Right. And so we have cleared out Ashura's base, but we have not found Ashura, so he actually has retreated to his own world. Flash warning, by the way. Every time we go up and down the roots of the world tree here, there will be a little double flash each time, so just be aware of that if you're watching. So Ashura's world is full of sand. Fortunately, there's a really consistent path through it that'll avoid all the sand flows, and that's you just enter from the right side here, follow this little shifting thing down until you find 2 cactuses on the bottom, and then go left above the cactuses, and here we found Ashura's tower. Ashura is kind of a running... I don't know. Running joke isn't quite the correct term for it. He's a character that gets demoted in every single game in the series. He's the main antagonist of the first game, the first story arc villain in this game, a henchman to another villain in the third game, and then in the Super Nintendo games, he's just a random encounter. So he gets demoted all the way from, like, main boss to random enemy. Also, this game has some of the best sprite work you'll ever see. That beetle who looks like he's been hitting the gym is one of my favorites. So we're going to pick up our first really good robot weapon here, which is the saber, and you're going to see this in action almost immediately, because we have to fight a woodman on the next floor. So here he is. And all we're going to do is we're going to attack him with that saber, and it's going to one-shot the woodman. So there you go, we have a very powerful robot. We meet Mask. This is Mask. He's not our dad in a tuxedo mask at all. Alright, so we have about another half of the tower. Threach, do you have anything else currently?
Absolutely. I'm so excited every time these things pop up and it's like, Dag did nothing. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's Dag's birthday. I don't have to do anything. We have a $10 donation from Feminine Eminem who says, trans rights. Thank you so much for your donation. And yes, absolutely.
Also, fantastic username.
It's so good. I was like, I gotta concentrate on this one, but we got there.
So, Dag, if you're watching,
Oh, sorry.
Ashura is the Final Fantasy summon as well, yeah. In 4 or 2, or look, we don't talk about early Final Fantasy naming.
It's okay. We'll just call it a Saga game.
Correct. Dag, if you're watching, I promise you will eventually get to do something that's not just getting KO'd in battle. So this is the first boss of Ashura. There's a small chance we could put him to sleep. It probably won't happen, so it's mostly going to be Robot and Dad with the saber hammer action. So if you are familiar with JRPGs at all, you might know that killing gods kind of a meme in RPGs. And this game is no exception. We actually kill multiple of them throughout the story. We don't wait until the end to get started on that. So what we just found out is that Key, who is the guardian of the world and a healer, actually has healing power because there's magi in her bloodstream, and somehow Ashura shrunk his troops down and sent them into her bloodstream, so we need to follow, but we're too big to go into someone's bloodstream. So that fairy right there told us that in the next world, there used to be giants. There aren't anymore, and it's theorized they somehow shrunk themselves down, which makes them normal human size. Flashing light again, by the way.
Well, maybe, but they might be giants.
They might be giants, indeed. In fact, we might meet They Might Be a Giant very soon. So we're heading over to the Giants world to see if we can find something that would allow us to shrink ourselves down, because we're already normal size, and that would make us small enough to go into a bloodstream. Also, say hi to Dad! We found him! Do you think he's going to come back with us? No, that would end the plot way too quickly. So he just kind of vanished. I don't know how that works. And we're gonna go into the shop from the back in classic RPG fashion and just, rudely ask the shopkeeper where he gets his giant goods that we totally know that he has from entering the shop from the front like a normal paying customer. And he tells us to go and talk to Johnny. Who is Johnny? This guy in the cafe. I don't know. It's Johnny! Everyone loves Johnny. And Johnny will tell us how to get into the Giant's town. And then he asks, do you think I'm a giant? And it's faster to say yes, and he just says, well, I'm not. Which, I don't know about you, but that sounds like something a giant would say. So I guess shout out to Johnny. He indeed might be a giant. So now we can enter the Giant's town from this secret door here. So the item we need is up there, but we actually can't enter that until we pick up the Magi down here. We need to pick up all 77 Magi in order to finish the game. So in order to stop you from getting, hard-gated because you missed, a treasure chest, 3 hours ago, it has periodic checks to make sure that you found all of the Magi so far, including this door right here. Or I guess it's a mouse hole. A giant mouse hole. I'd hate to meet the mouse that made that. And over here is the Micron, which is what's going to let us shrink down to the size of a cell and go inside of Key's bloodstream. So now we have to walk all the way back to our world. And we have a very exciting and intense part of the run coming up, which is our first shopping trip. It's just a matter of how many rhinoceri we encounter along the way. You know, maybe the real treasure is the rhinoceri we encountered on the way.
These are life lessons.
There are many life lessons you can get from this game. Wait until the end, I've got a great one. So now we're back home. We're going to go into this town here, and this is super important. We need to sell everything that we have in our inventory, except for that key item we just picked up. Because this game will not stop you from selling a key item. It does not, like, stop you from, like, finishing the game if you do that, because if you don't have a key item, it will show up back where you got it. But if we do that, then we have to walk all the way back to Giant Land and get it again, and that's real slow and shameful. So now we can turn ourselves small. Hello, we're being attacked by roving gangs on the way to enter a Magic School Bus episode. So we are now inside of Key's bloodstream. This is roughly shaped like a very blocky human. We need to get Magi out of her hands and feet and heart and stomach and brain. It doesn't matter which order other than you have to get the brain last. So while I am venturing through Key's bloodstream, I'm going to take a brief minute to explain how monsters work, because two of our characters, Yells and Yins, are monsters. Monsters in this game have predetermined stats. And predetermined abilities with a certain number of uses that restore whenever you stay at an inn. If you've ever played a Pokemon game, it works more or less like that. But the way that monsters get stronger is when you defeat a monster, sometimes it drops meat. We've actually seen that, I think, already in this run. And when a monster eats the meat of another monster, it will turn into a different monster based on what kind of monster it was and what kind of meat that it ate. So we're going to take advantage of that throughout the run to get our monsters very powerful, because it does not require any grinding outside of a couple of specific forced encounters that we're going to grind for meat drops, the first of which is at the end of this dungeon. And having said that, Threach, this is the most obnoxiously long dungeon in the run, so if you want to take it away, this is the literal best time in the entire run for it.
It's like music to my ears. I love it. I want to let all of our friends here know there are so many things on the horizon for this event. I'm so excited for Final Fantasy Legend 2, but we've also got some awesome upcoming runs, including Dicey Dungeons Backstage Any Percent happening in a few runs by Selkuth Mind. But we have opened an incentive to change that category so we can upgrade to all fights. We have set a goal of $40 to be raised to make that happen, and chat, that is going to put us up at $600 raised for the Hugh Lane Wellness Foundation. So if you are able to donate, we would love to see that come in, especially to upgrade Dicey Dungeons to all fights. When you make your donation, don't forget to apply it towards that incentive so we know that that's where you want that money to go. And we are absolutely able to make that happen. It's a super attainable goal and one that we absolutely want to see. Also, you'll help us hit a milestone of 600 bucks raised for Hugh Lane. I think that's so awesome. So !donate in chat if you want to see that information about how to make your donation and apply it to that incentive.
So while I'm venturing around this dungeon, I really need to give a shout out to the one enemy sprite, which is the worm that looks how I imagine a Richard Scarry illustration would look if it had extreme anxiety. A couple of them popped up, but we'll see if it comes up again, because I absolutely love the worm sprite so much.
I guarantee you the worm from the Richard Scarry books is on at least one antidepressant.
Probably. You don't buy an Apple car because nothing's going on in your life. I'm just saying.
So true.
There's Anxiety Worm. I love him so much. Right, we're almost done getting the Magi out of Key's limbs, and now we can go into her brain, where we're going to have our first meat farm of the run. I'm going to be donating after this run $1 for every time I have to reset to get a meat drop. So for the sake of the run, I hope it's low. For the sake of the charity, I hope it's high. So really, I can't lose here. And here we have our little mini-boss. We're going to get attacked by Key's white blood cells, so we're just going to have our robot attack them with a submachine gun, which is probably... Actually, we will if I, equip the submachine gun to the robot. It's probably not great for Key's immune system to do this, but we need white blood cell meat for our monsters. Do you know white blood cells have meat? Because I did not before I played Final Fantasy Legends 2. That's not a meat drop. We're learning so much on this episode of Magic School Bus.
My biology textbook from 9th grade is in shambles right now.
That's unfortunate. Alright. Third time is not the charm. So, RNG just wants money for charity, I think, is what's happening right now. There we go, 4th time. And we're gonna have Yells eat the white blood cell meat, and Yells is now a chameleon. The chameleon is really nice because it has the ability Warning, which stops us from being back attacked by monsters. Otherwise, starting in the next world, we'd have a chance of getting back attacked in any combat, and that can be scary. It's not particularly dangerous for a marathon run, because this game, pretty unusually for its time, actually has a fight retry mechanic. Which not a lot of games, or in the early RPG space, had a fight retry mechanic. This is, I think, one of, if not the first one to do so. But it is very slow if we have to engage the retry mechanic. So we are in Apollo's world now. We're going to meet Apollo. He's like 12 feet tall and has his own theme music, which is kind of rad. This is also weirdly like very standard RPG fare for this game. Like we have 3 dungeons that we have to do in this world that he's giving us hints to, and they're just Volcano Dungeon, Mountain Cave Dungeon, and the one dungeon that's dark until you find the item that lights it up. Which is pretty normal for an RPG, but, like, it's not the brand of, like, unhinged that this particular RPG usually has. So we're going into the volcano. You might think that volcanoes are full of lava, and this is, but listen to this crunchy lava sound effect. We're dealing with Captain Crunch's Oops All Lava here. Because I don't think normal lava would sound like that if you stepped in it. In fact, I think normal lava would sound like a lot more screaming in pain if you stepped in it, but that's just me. Also, that tree is another one of those sprites that just really is a vibe. I don't know how he's in a volcano without combusting. But that's not even, like, close to the top of questions I have about this game. Also, these lizards have, like, the Sailor Moon swirly glasses going on. So here we're going to pick up the True Eye, which allows us to see in the dark. So the next dungeon, when I enter, there's going to be a double flash of light, as well as a somewhat disorienting floor effect, so be aware of that if you're watching. This is the Cave of Darkness, only it's not going to be dark anymore, it's now light, and we've got this really shockingly advanced for an early Game Boy game, like, scrolling floor effect going on. And we're going to pick up our next really important robot weapon. I'm going to leave everyone in suspense as to what that might be. Threach, do you want to take it for a second while I get to this important robot weapon?
I was so mesmerized by this floor. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much to Anonymous for the $25 donation made without comment. But thank you very much. It gets us closer to that $600 milestone. And just a reminder that we have opened that all fights incentive for Dicey Dungeons. We need to raise $40 to make that happen, folks. So let's see those donations come in to upgrade that category.
And so we just picked up a laser sword for our robot. So Ellipsis here is now a Jedi. And
Legally
as you can
distinct
imagine,
Jedi, right?
a legally distinct Jedi. I mean, Jedi are just space samurai, so, you know. I feel like that's very appropriate. So our strategy for about the next solid chunk of this game for every fight is going to be to have a legally distinct Jedi robot attack things with a legally distinct laser sword. We're going to see the potency of that in action in the next dungeon, which actually has a mini-boss. These first two dungeons, you just kind of walk out at the top with no fight, which is lovely for the speedrun. So this cave is a little tricky. If you go in from the front, it's a dead end, so you've got to come around the back of the mountain and go in the back exit, or the back entrance, I guess. I guess it's an entrance if you're going into it. This is also the most weirdly nondescript dungeon in this entire run, in my opinion, but we do get to pick up a rocket launcher here. Getting ahead of myself. I want to get my hands on the rocket launcher. We're going to sell it on the open market, because apparently you can do that here. Yay, rockets! Alright, so Medusa is also, I mean, a standard Medusa, but did you ever wonder how difficult it would be to do hair care if your hair was snakes and you couldn't look at yourself in a mirror?
You really weren't kidding about the sprite work in this game. Every time a new enemy pops up, I'm like, wow, it looks so good!
I know. Also, we just went down a slide. So we're going to meet Lynn. She also went down the slide and can't get back out because for some reason there's a robot down here. I mean, we have a robot down here, but also there's a different robot down here called Dunatus. So we're just going to fight him with our legally distinct Jedi robot. So this is Dunatus. That was Dunatus. The developers really did not anticipate you putting all of your agility gear onto a robot, I think. Also, we found our dad with Lynn's mom, and we assume he's cheating on our mom, and we're very upset. So we're going to do what anyone who's upset would do. We're going to go shopping.
I feel that.
I'm going to sell everything except for those potions, and I'm going to buy 2 headbutts, because apparently you can buy headbutts in shops. And I'm going to buy another laser sword. So now we have 2 of them. Because, you know, we ascribe to 8-bit theater math of 2 laser swords are stronger than 1 laser sword. So now we have finished the weirdly standard world of this game, where the Final Fantasy Legend 2 briefly pretends like it's a normal RPG. Hello, Moth. He is eager to be out here today. So the encounters in this game actually have a step-based RNG, which cycles through like the same like 32 or 64 values repeatedly. Which, if you play it long enough, you just start to notice the pattern of when you get encounters, and that's also why we have to scramble it at the start. So we're in this very small world. We're going to go over to, there's a jukebox here, so we're going to do what any sensible person would do. We're going to put on What's New Pussycat 13 times and get arrested. But lucky for us, our dad actually runs this place, and he gets us out. So this is actually the base of the Guardians, which is a secret society that is trying to prevent people from abusing the Magi. So we're going to talk to our dad, we're going to sleep, and then this is going to get attacked. There's going to be a flash when it gets attacked, so once again, flashing light warning. So now there's monsters here, so we have to fight our way out. There's 4 encounters we have to do. This is an ogre. That was an ogre. This is how fights are going to go for like the foreseeable future. We get to join up with Dad here. Hopefully we won't get a can't run from Dad. Oh dear. I don't want the menu. I want laser swords. Laser swords are superior to menus. That's another bit of wisdom for you. The really tricky thing is sometimes you can get a random encounter right in front of these fixed encounters, and if you fail to realize that it's a random encounter, you're just wasting time. So, it's unfortunate. This town was pretty nice, but now it's all wrecked. And these monsters have actually kidnapped that girl we met in the last world, Lynn, so we've got to go rescue her in the next world. So welcome to the most exciting world of the game, Plot Advancement World. We find plot advancement here. So we're going to go to the left, and here's plot advancement. This is the world. This is the whole thing. So, Lynn is held hostage by a ninja. Our dad is going to explode himself to defeat the ninja. And he's not even going to do it well, because the ninja survives that somehow. So that's a ninja. But ninjas are actually not really a match for a robot with a laser sword, so Ellipsis is just going to, you know, take this ninja out in one shot, and we're going to be sad about our dad being dead now. This game, you know, it has things happen, and they happen very quickly.
The emotional whiplash is staggering.
To be fair, if we were playing this on an actual Game Boy, it would take about twice as much time for all of this to happen, but, you know, gotta go fast. We're not slow running here, after all. So we're going to go to Venus's world. It's been like, you know, 15 minutes since we killed the gods, so we need to get, you know, another one. So Venus has... Oop. This is not Venus's world. I have to go 2 more worlds in to find her. Some of the plot events whip you around like multiple worlds back. Be a little bit jarring. So this is Venus's world for realsies. We're going to go and talk to Venus. We want to find out if there's Magi here. This is Venus. She's also like 12 feet tall. She says there's no Magi here, but she's lying. If you're playing this casually, you do have a little thing that tells you how many Magi are in a world. We don't use that because we already know where they are. So we're going to go over around here to the village of outcasts. So Venus is not the nicest person. She only lets beautiful people stay in her city, and she will kick people out if they get injured, which is a problem, and we'll deal with that in a bit. So we need to talk to Leon in order to get plot advancement to show up, and then it turns out Venus has hidden the Magi in the one place where she doesn't think anyone in her city would look, which is the sewers, but joke's on her, we have no dignity, so we're going right in those sewers. So she did take the precaution of locking the Magi behind locked doors, so we're going to have to pick up the key from the security guard before we can actually enter the treasure chambers where the Magi are. And we're going to meet him right inside of this room, and it turns out the security guard is, in fact, a crab. He heard about carcinization and got ahead of the curve. Unfortunately, okay, you know, becoming a crab is slightly more effective against laser swords than anything else that we've seen in this run, but it's still not that effective against laser swords. If there's one thing I want everyone watching to take away by the end of this, it's that lasers are very strong. So this is the first of the 2 treasure rooms. The gimmick here is that each of the rooms has 3 Magi and 1 chest is a trap that has monsters, but the trap is always in the bottom right, so you just don't open the bottom right chest and you're good. Also, if you've ever played a Final Fantasy where you fight the monster chest and, you know, afterwards you get the treasure that was in the chest, nope, not here. If you try to open the chest, you just get more monsters. Your prize is more monsters. Which just feels rude. But that's another life lesson. Sometimes the prize is just more monsters. Alrighty. Threach, do you want to take a guess what the next dungeon is going to be?
Well, we've had... Are we still on the 3 that we had to do before? Didn't we have the volcano?
We've already gone past the 3 we had to do before.
What if we just find another volcano? You know what? I'm just going to assume it's crabs. It's crabs all the way down.
Yeah, it's crabs all the way down. So Flora's supposed to get, married to that literal handsome devil Nils there, but the wedding is interrupted. We have a sudden onset volcano. We've had one volcano dungeon, but what about second volcano dungeon?
Are you kidding me? Are you serious? There's a second volcano dungeon? I'm so excited.
There is, in fact, a second volcano dungeon. I don't actually know the name of the dungeon, but I call it the Sneak Peek because it's a stealthy mountain.
That's... So many good things are happening.
Also, this fish. This fish is one of my favorite sprites in the entire game. I don't even know how it's in a volcano.
This fish is one of my favorite Faith Hill songs.
I have never heard that song.
No, it's called This Kiss, and I just told a bad joke. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness. See, you told a bad joke that I did not get, so haha. My bad joke was more understandable, maybe. I don't know.
No, you've won. You've won, and that's what matters.
Ha! I have defeated you. So we are trudging through the next round of Captain Crunch's Oops All Lava. As we're making our way through this dungeon here, we're actually being trailed by Leon. You can kind of see him show up on the edge of the screen periodically, like there. So we don't know what he's up to, but we're about to find out. Also, this dungeon has a bunch of hot springs that heal you, and we're just not going to use them at all. Because, that's slow. Who wants to take extra steps to go places? We're going to pick up these chests here to sell later. I see you, Leon. Don't think I can't see, the edge of this presumed tiny Game Boy screen. And now we have to track down into the lava. Crunch, crunch. It's like walking through breakfast cereal. It's just there's way too much sugar. It's bad for you. That's why our health is at 1. So we're going to pick up this chest here, and it has a Magi, and Leon's going to just take it and go try to confront Venus on his own, which is a bad idea. That's not going to go well for him. So, we're going to step in and, clean up for him. So it's time to go tell Venus that we think that kicking people she thinks is ugly out of her city is not great, and we don't like her. So this is the second proper boss fight of the run, and probably one of the more dangerous ones. We do get a little cutscene right here, though, where Flora gives herself a little face scar to force Venus to kick her out of the city so that she can marry Leon. It's very dramatic and has sick music. Right, I shut up there so you could hear the music as much as possible. So our legally distinct Jedi robot is the only character we have that can damage Venus, so it's going to take, I think, 4 hits, and we just want her to not spam flame, because that's the only way she wins. And we got 1 flame, but we should be good. Yeah, we got her. Cool. That was nice that she cooperated. So we get the Aegis Magi from her, and that's important. That puts up a shield that blocks a lot of attacks on our team. And that will make a couple of the later boss fights possible by just blocking out a bunch of their attacks. So now, do we like races in here? Because we're about to go to the Dragon Race world, where we're going to meet up. Well, we're actually not going to see Apollo, but if we actually took the time to look around at anything, we'd find out that he's hosting a Dragon Race tournament with a Magi as the prize. So of course we're going to compete. And we have the option to pick a fast dragon, a normal dragon, a slow dragon, or a very slow dragon. And I will leave it up to all of you to figure out which one we're going to pick. Spoilers, it's the very slow dragon. So what's going to happen here is that this race is going to be attacked by unknown assailants who are after the Magi. By picking the slowest dragon, all of the riders ahead of us are going to get taken out by monsters, and we're going to avoid a whole bunch of forced encounters. And that goes to show my favorite piece of wisdom from this game. Sometimes the slowest dragon is the fastest dragon. We're going to have a forced encounter right up here with a random number of Lamias. We are going to give you the Aegis Magi. And save, just in case we get too many Lamias. Hopefully we don't get 4. Okay, we got 4. That was mean. Oh my goodness, 4 again. Okay, that is probably doable. Hopefully our robot can pull through. Alright, yay! Ellipsis pulled through. So, right up until this point in the game, our robot, Ellipsis, has been hard carrying the team. Our monster is about to, one of our monsters, the baby dragon, is about to start pulling through. And no, it's not because we have Time Wizard. So these are the Watchers. We need eyeball meat. This is the second meat grind of the game. And we need... We did not get monster meat. So, Threach, do you want to take it while I farm this meat drop?
I would love to. I will stand in while the meat drop happens, or while the meat farming drop. You know what I'm saying. We have a $10 donation from Alara, who says, "Holy heck, Yins are absolutely destroying my predictions and hopes for the event. We had so many amazing runs submitted, the schedule is stacked, our guests were flabbered with all the volunteers and folks helping out. Even with all the early hiccups, things picked up and we are not on cruise control. This project was started with one goal, creating a community, not another marathon. You are all proving that the idea was worth pursuing. Thank you for making all the work to start this worth it. I appreciate everyone involved and viewing the event." Thank you so much to Alara for that donation, and absolutely, this is a great community. We love to see new folks come in. I know I'm personally based in Pittsburgh, but you do not have to be in Pittsburgh or Western PA to be part of the community. If you'd like, you can join us on Discord. You can use !Discord in chat to get that link and come join us in the server. Come hang out.
This is one of the worst meat farms I've had for a while. Oh, there we go, we got it! So we had our baby dragon eat eyeball meat. I don't know how you get eyeball meat, and I don't want to think about it. Also, this gets glitchy on fast mode, but our baby dragon is now that eyeball monster, and that eyeball monster is very powerful. That eyeball monster is also very ironically blinded, but that doesn't matter for what we're doing. So welcome to my absolute favorite part of this entire game, Edo Japan. If you think you know anything about Edo Japan, no you don't. Not as according to Final Fantasy Legend 2. So we're going to come into this town, we're going to get attacked by the Hatamoto gang, and so we're just going to have our Watcher hit them with a big laser beam. And that was the Hatamoto gang. Like I said earlier, if there's one thing we learned in this run, it's lasers are very strong. So we get introduced rather, to Hana here, who is a detective who is investigating the Hatamoto gang, and specifically, she thinks they're connected to the merchant Echigoya. So this entire world is full of hard-boiled detective tropes. Edo, Japan, which is a wonderfully delightful combination of things to have in a game story. So we're gonna have a look at this Echigoya fellow in his shop. So we're gonna go right over here, and we're going to have our very heavily armed robot politely ask him where his shipment's coming in, and he tells us to dock. We're also going to buy a laser gun from him. Because what do I keep saying? Lasers are very strong. So now we're going to go have a look at his ship. We're going to find out what it is that he's been smuggling into this world. Do we want to take a guess as to what is being smuggled? What nefarious things that this corrupt merchant is smuggling? I'm going to let it cook. We have to get to the bottom of this ship to find out.
Ooh, the suspense.
Right, we have to get to the bottom of this to get to the bottom of this. That's a combination of words you can say, and I did, in fact, say them.
I'm so glad I'm muted, because I am cracking up over here.
So we picked up another laser gun. Also, this treasure chest has a tank in it, like a literal tank. I don't know how you get that into a treasure chest, or on a boat without sinking it, for that matter. And here we're going to find out what's being smuggled. It's bananas. We have found a ring of evil banana smugglers. And if you didn't know, bananas are highly illegal. And if you play DK64, you probably shouldn't. It's illegal.
Do they have a randomizer for DK64?
Not in this world. That would be like 2 kinds of illegal. I know, you want me to say the thing, but I'm not going to say the thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Neither do I! So we're going to tell this judge that we found evidence that Echigoya is smuggling bananas. Unfortunately, when they go to search the ship, they find no trace of bananas, so somebody is covering up for him. Here we're going to get to see a wonderful case of sprite teleportation. Our turtle buddy there went to go investigate Echigoya. He got roughed up a little bit. And this guy comes in and he's like, "This is getting out of our hands, detective." But fortunately, we're just a, vagabond group of vigilantes, so we're gonna go find out what's happening with Echigoya. So we're gonna march right back over to his shop and see what he's got cooking, and wouldn't you know, he's suspiciously absent, so we're just going to flagrantly snoop. We're gonna go snooping down here. Although that sword looks like it's rolling its eyes back really hard. And actually, it turns out that Echigoya is in league with this world's ruler, the Shogun, to cover up his banana crimes. But we're going to bust in with our heroic theme music. I do want to point out that the characters do actually ask where that music's coming from, so it apparently is diegetic. And we have to fight Echigoya and his minions. So Echigoya's getting the laser sword, and the minions are getting the laser beam. And that's how we're winning this fight. So that's Echigoya dealt with, but now that we know the Shogun's behind it, what do? Well, it turns out Taro over there is a member of our dad's organization, so we're gonna go fight the Shogun now. And Threach, the next dungeon coming up, once I do the encounter at the beginning, will be another good, big hosting chunk for you.
Wonderful. You love to see
it. Real quick, Deg, you finally get to do something that isn't getting just attacked in combat. You get a tank. So happy birthday, Deg. Your present's a tank. Alrighty. There we go. So we have to divide up our hits correctly on this. The tank is really nice because it does a little bit of damage, but it also stops any physical attacks because it is, and I cannot stress this enough, literally a tank. So now we're going to head through this dungeon. The only thing of note is that on the 4th floor I can run into those guards, and it is unrunnable, so I have to fight it if I see them. Apart from that, Threach, go ahead and take it away for a moment.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Folks, we are creeping ever closer to the all fights upgrade for Dicey Dungeons. Currently the backstage, any percent category run by Self-Couth Mind in 2 runs from now. We are at $30 out of $40 raised to make that happen. And thank you so much to Rumor Macabre for the $20 donation toward that goal that says, Merry birthday, Dag! Hope you are having a good birthday. Thank you so very much for that donation. Folks, if you are
Merry
not
birthday,
familiar...
enjoy your tank.
Enjoy your tank. Enjoy doing something. I just want to tell everyone a little bit about the Hugh Lane Wellness Foundation that was founded in 2017 to improve the health of the LGBTQ plus and HIV communities. They offer a variety of services and resources to our communities, as well as expert training for organizations to improve their capacity to serve LGBTQ plus clients and staff. That is a local Pittsburgh organization, and as I've mentioned, I'm in Pittsburgh. I know a lot of the SCS folks are also in Pittsburgh, so we are so excited to partner with them to support their awesome work and the help that they bring to our communities.
Oh, and here's the unrunnable encounter. We got it. So we've got Laser Sword, Muramasa, Laser Beam, and a tank, so this should be fine. Oh, congratulations, Dag. You took out a ninja.
Honestly, standard Dag behavior.
Oh my... Again. We get them again. So many unrunnable encounters this time. So, Taro's Muramasa can occasionally just one-shot the knights, and it has a ridiculous, screen shake animation if he does that. Alright, and the ninjas. Oh, there it is. We don't need to eat stone meat. Alright, so I'm going to fight the Shogun, and all we're going to do is take him out with laser beams and laser swords and the Muramasa that Taro has. And it turns out he was not actually the person behind all this. It was his dad, the magnets. What is he a magnet of? I don't know. So we're going to equip this samurai bow onto our robot here real quick. Along with these 2 laser guns. And we're going to save, because this boss can get really mean if he decides to spam Tornado. Also, those fish statues on the side are super bosses. So it's going to take about 4 rounds to take the magnet out, so hopefully we don't see tornado spam. Alright, well that's a tornado, so hopefully he doesn't do that more. The later bosses do have a chance to... Okay, we got him. Good. I was a little worried about that. They do have a chance to actually win if they spam their strongest attack, but usually they don't. And we save right before them, just in case. So we're about to go to the Nasty World, home of the Nasty Dungeon. It is the hardest dungeon in the entire game. It is very long, very confusing, and it has a bunch of really strong and difficult monsters in it. So what are we going to do? We're going to grab this chest and turn around and leave and not do the dungeon.
Foxy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Would you rather see tornado spam or a spam tornado?
I would rather spam tornado. Like, I am a Black Mage enjoyer. Thank you very much. So, the Nasty Dungeon, if you actually do play it casually, is quite difficult. It also has a lot of very strong weapons in it, but my favorite thing about it is that fairy at the start will tell you this dungeon is nasty, don't go in. If you get to the end of the dungeon, you'll find that fairy, and she'll say, wasn't that dungeon nasty? And if you say no, she teleports you to the middle of the dungeon.
That's so petty, and I love that for her.
It's petty. She'll just be like, you know what? It's not nasty? Well then, here, have some more of it. It's my favorite troll, I think, in RPGs ever. Also, we're in Valhalla now. No reason. We're just gonna show up, kill Odin, refuse to elaborate, and leave. This is actually related to the retry mechanic I mentioned earlier. What would happen in the, usually if you're playing normally, you'd probably get party wiped at some point. When you get party wiped, you show up in Valhalla, and Odin agrees to send you back if you promise to fight him when you get here. But we didn't do that, so we just kind of show up and kill him and leave. Which really, really doesn't make the case that our party isn't a bunch of murder hobos. Take the D&D cadence for the term of parties that do such things. But by not actually seeing any of those game over cutscenes, we also completely skip like the 2-minute long dialogue before Odin here. And that is really nice. Also, lore accurate, Odin shows up with his horse Sleipnir and his 2 crows. The crows can be petrified. Hopefully it works. It did not, but that's fine. We'll take care of them later. We don't want to spend too much time not attacking Odin because he's very dangerous. And the tank and Aegis Magi will do a lot to stop it. He already took out the Watcher. Okay. We're all on Ellipsis now. It's all on you. Yay, we got it. So now all we need to do is we need to use the samurai bow that we picked up earlier to hit the crows, and there we go. And we got all of the money. We actually have fast travel now. We have it for like 2 seconds, and then we lose it. But we are going to fast travel out the other side of this dungeon. So there is a really weird bug with the Odin fight, where if you get meat from Sleipnir, instead of dropping 37,000 gold like he's supposed to, he drops 300, and then you have to pick up backup items in the next dungeon to make up for it. Also, because we killed Odin, we no longer have a retry if we lose a fight, so we actually have to not lose a fight now. There's actually stakes. We might have to deal with consequences for our actions, and given how our party has conducted themselves so far, that sounds terrifying. Anyway, here's Apollo. It turns out he's evil and betraying us. So he sicks this minion on us. This minion is not immune to petrification, so we're going to attempt to petrify the minion. But in case that doesn't work, we're also going to go with our backup laser sword, because as I mentioned, laser swords are very strong. Laser everything is very strong. Yeah, see, and there we go. We got immediately slain by that minion. That's probably just, retribution for everything we've done in this run so far. Alright. Hopefully we actually get petrified this time. There we go. That's what it's supposed to do. So unfortunately, we defeated his minion, but he's taken all of our friends hostage in exchange for demanding that we give him all of the Magi. So we do, but hey, guess what? Our dad's actually not dead. He survived exploding somehow. Don't ask me how. But he didn't blink twice, and that means he's not dead. So we're in the final dungeon. Not the last dungeon, mind you. The final dungeon. It's made of human faces. Also, this treasure chest has karate in it. I don't know how a treasure chest has karate in it. But we're going to take the treasure chest karate and put it on our robot, and we're going to put the flare tome we picked up and the magic boosting Hecate boots onto our dad. And now we just get to go through our Go ahead.
You're saying words, but the order that they're happening in doesn't make sense. Like, there's karate in a chest, but then you put stuff on your dad. It's fine.
Yeah. That's Final Fantasy Legend 2. We pick up karate in a treasure chest. We equip karate to our robot. We equip our dad with random things we got from a banana smuggler. That's just how this game rolls. Also, if I had a nickel for every RPG I speedran that had a meat fort dungeon, I'd have 2 nickels. Like, why are there so many meat forts?
That is not knowledge that we are to know.
It is not. So we have the treasure chest karate, so all we have to do is get to the end of this dungeon, and we're going to have a boss. It is going to be very satisfying, potentially, for anyone who has extensive experience with Final Fantasy I. Despite this game not being real Final Fantasy. Threach, you can probably squeeze something in here while I run up the dungeon.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I just want to remind everyone we're still working towards the Dicey Dungeons All Fights upgrade. We need $10 more to make that happen. If you want to donate for that, use !donate in chat, and remember to apply your donation to the incentive on the donation page.
Alrighty, and here is the boss room. And who should we run into? But the bane of almost every Final Fantasy I player ever. Oop. The bane of almost every FF1 player, Warmac! Also, unlike Final Fantasy I, this Warmac can be petrified. Which is exactly what we're gonna do. Hey, look, first try. Happens every time. It does not happen every time. And here we picked up the Heart Magi. This is a full party heal and revive, so we're gonna stick that on Eyeball Monster. And now we're going to go for our final shopping section of the run. We're going to sell everything we have and pick up some all-important endgame items. I'm selling headbutts now, instead of buying them. Truly a strange economy in Final Fantasy Legend 2. So I'm going to buy a cat claw from my robot. It is character growth. And I'm going to buy 3 laser guns because lasers are strong. We're going to give Deg a laser gun. Enjoy your lasers, Deg. And we're going to put more laser guns onto our robot. Our robot now has 4 laser guns. Which is a lot. That's a lot of laser guns for one entity to hold. It's like Gilgamesh, but for lasers. And we are going to come over to the item shop, and we're going to buy 3 tents, and then as many... You might think I'm getting elixirs, but if you notice, I'm getting elixiers. I don't know what it is about early Game Boy RPGs not being able to spell elixir correctly, but like between this and Pokemon, neither of them got it right. But with our full set of tents and elixirs, we can now go to the central palace at the top of Yggdrasil here, and we can confront Apollo and deal with his misdeeds. As though we have, any moral standing to judge misdeeds in this game. So this is a very interesting fight, because for the first 5 turns, he's just going to keep spamming the Aegis Magi to make himself immune to things. Real quick. I need to actually equip the laser, or not the laser gun, the cat claw onto my robot. So yeah, Apollo is going to spam the Aegis Magi to make himself immune to things. Thing is, the Aegis Magi doesn't make him immune to laser beams, so we're just going to be hitting him with laser beams while he taunts us about how invincible he is. So by the time the actual fight starts, most of his HP is going to be gone already. And this fight does take quite a little bit of time. So if you have a sneaky donation while we're, lasering Apollo, go for it. Threach.
Thank you. I just want to remind everyone of a few things on here on twitch.tv. Go ahead and give Foxy a follow. And also, if you want to, give the Steel City Speedsters channel a follow. We're so excited to bring this first online marathon to you from our channel, and we're happy to be here. So that's basically a 2-for-1 deal. You can get so much entertainment by following both Foxy and Steel City Speedsters. We're doing great.
Heck yeah. So he is actually going to stop spamming Aegis now, and we're going to use the one thing we have that is more powerful than lasers, which is cat claws. In case you didn't know. We need to make sure that our dad survives this fight. There we go. He is going to start rather horribly melting down because he did not, in fact, have all of the Magi. And... And he explodes, and our dad jumps in front of the hit, and now our dad is dying for real. So it's all sad again. This is the second time we're watching Dad die, except he points out that we actually now have all of the Magi, and we can just do something about it, because we have the power of a god. So we're going to use the Magi to summon the god, which is Isis. So she's going to, like, save our dad, but it turns out this entire fight has destabilized the world tree, so now the entire universe is about to collapse. We get to go through our final dungeon. We are literally going to go into the maintenance tunnels of the universe. So from here on out, every fight is unrunnable. So I'm going to have to fight my way through. Fortunately, Venus comes with a rechargeable flare, Isis comes with a rechargeable flare, so she's going to be doing the heavy lifting. We're also going to be going through the meat roulette. We're going to have Yells start randomly eating the meat of any monster that drops it in the hopes that we get a good monster. If we do, it's going to make the final boss drastically less scary. You get two mini-bosses in the maintenance tunnels that will take a monster to the highest possible tier of monster. One of them we are getting predetermined, and the other is the meat roulette. So let's see what Yells becomes. A black cat. We do need to periodically dump an Elixir into Isis to recharge her flare charges. It's not super obvious if you're not playing. This floor here does actually push you along. And if you get a bunch of encounters in a row, it would be hard to menu, except that you can buffer the menu input, which is very convenient. I also need to look out for a couple specific monsters that are really, that are very difficult to kill with just flare. But until we get to the next mini-boss, Threach, this is a great time. There's a lot of fights at this point in the game.
All right, awesome. Thank you to everyone who's donated so far, and thank you to Darthface for the $5 donation with no comment, but thank you so much for sending that in. All the donations and the money that we raised this weekend go to benefit the Hulane Wellness Foundation. We're over $600 toward just our goal of raising as much money as we can this weekend, and we're still working toward the Dicey Dungeons upgrade to all fights incentive. We just need $5 more to make that happen, folks. That's coming up in 2 runs, and that's going to be here before you know it. So if you want to make a donation, use !donate, get that link, apply it towards the incentive, and let's see all of those fights come up for Dicey Dungeons.
Excellent. We are just about to have our first mini-boss here. I'm going to save because I need there to be only 1 or 2. That is 4. That is way too many of them. 3 is still too many of them. That is a random encounter that I got on load-in, which is even more rude. There we go, that's 2. So hopefully we can take these out. We're going to use a Cat Claw and Flare. Hopefully he did not take out a monster. We also need Yins to survive this to eat, in order to actually eat Tianlung's meat. There we go. And Yins is going to become Madam. Madam has an HP draining attack that is what makes the final boss in this run actually feasible. She also has an instant kill, which is great for a lot of the random encounters. Alright, this one I actually need to... that, and... So 2 of these enemies are potentially in the range to survive a flare attack, so we're gonna... There we go. And what is, Yells became went from a rock with a K to a rock without a K. That's amusing. Yells also now has the Magnet's overpowered tornado attack. In, true RPG fashion, it's less overpowered when we use it than when the boss uses it. Which always did feel a little bit rude, you know? And... Threach, you might want to take another one, because there's a lot of fights in these maintenance tunnels.
You know what? Every time
anyone... It really is.
All the time. That's the problem with maintenance tunnels. I'm always saying this. In case anyone is not familiar with the Healing Wellness Foundation, again, that's the charity that we're raising money for this weekend. They were launched in 2017 to improve the health of the LGBTQ plus and HIV communities. They have a ton of services, including a 6-week support group for LGBTQ youth called Affirm, and those youths learn how to create a chosen family, identify coping skills, and celebrate their identities. This is a cause that is so important to so many of us. There's a huge population of folks in the LGBTQ community in Steel City Speedsters. We love celebrating that, and we love to be able to create a place that is welcoming. It's an important cause that's near and dear to our hearts. We are trying to raise money for them, and if you're feeling generous, if you want to make a difference in people's lives, all of the funds that we raise this weekend go right to that. So feel free to make a donation. We'd love to see it. We'd love to be able to get them as much money as we can this weekend. And again, it's all for a great cause.
Alright, and here's our second mini-boss. Did he take out the monster? I hope not. He did, so I have to reset and do that fight again. A 1, that's good. Our monsters need to actually be standing to eat the meat. There we go. So what is Yell going to turn into? An Axolot. I don't know what that is. We're gonna find out if it has any good attacks. Oh, it has Flare. That's not bad. That's the fun of the meat roulette. You don't know what you're gonna get till you get it.
My least favorite casino game is the meat roulette.
Oh my goodness. If I would not bet on the meat roulette. The odds are not with you.
On a long enough timeline, all of us bet on the meat roulette.
Okay, so the infuriating thing is every single practice run I did of this game ended with me getting the Slime God, which is the literal best monster you can get at the end of the meat roulette. But of course, you know, that's not going to happen in the live marathon. That's not how any of this works. So if you want to see Slime God, you'll need to play the game yourself. Which I would highly recommend. It holds up shockingly well for an early Game Boy RPG. Which is not something you usually get to say about any Game Boy RPG. Okay, so these samurai guys are just a giant wad of HP, so hopefully with 2 flares and robot bow, we can take them out. Yay, we did! And we are almost at the final boss fight, which is the scariest thing in the entire run. Also, we lose our guest party member and her overpowered flares for this fight. Because of course we do. So this is Arsenal. It is the security system of the maintenance tunnels of the universe, and we gotta fight it. So it's going to start out by firing cannons at us. Every 1,000 damage we do to it is going to take out a cannon. And we need to take them out quickly or it will repair them. Once we take out all of the cannons, it will start firing the Little Smasher, which just does a minor amount of damage to one character. That's going to be our breather to get healed up. Once we deal 5,000 damage to the second phase, it is going to launch the Big Smasher, and that is when it gets incredibly dangerous. The Big Smasher can do anywhere from like 100 to 600 damage to one of our characters, and as you can see, we don't have that much HP. So fortunately, our monster here, Madam, has an HP-absorbing attack. So she can, with a little bit of luck, solo the Arsenal. Our main character's down. So, actually, you're gonna heal the robot. Yin's is going to heal Ellipsis. Ellipsis is our big damage dealer still, so we want to ideally have as healthy of an Ellipsis as we can. Alright, I think I can go into Absorb now. So at this point, we are probably just going to try to send it. I think it's going to go into Big Smasher now. And we need to hope we do not get awful... There it is! Big Smasher. The longer Ellipsis survives, the less scary this fight gets. Oh no, Madam fell. That's not good. We might have to retry this one. Yep. This is Arsenal. He is the meanest boss in the entire game because of that Big Smasher. So let's just try this again. We got real bad RNG there. So there was a Japan-only remake of this game that apparently made this boss even harder. Which is terrifying. It is pretty much a Saga game tradition to just have an unreasonably difficult final boss. Alright. The longer we can keep everyone up, the better we're gonna be. Heal the robot. And I am just intensely concentrating on this because I have to make some decisions about what to do. Every other fight in the game besides this one is entirely scripted. This one is just play it by ear and hope you don't get bad Smasher RNG. Time will be when we see defeated Arsenal, just as a heads up. It does come on really quickly when he goes down, so assuming we do not get equally bad RNG, hopefully we will be seeing that very, very soon. That was a brutal Smasher. Oh dear. Oh, and I missed Absorb. That's not good. Yo, time. And that is Final Fantasy Legend 2, and a very clutch victory from Yells on the Arsenal. So, yeah, I hope that everybody enjoyed watching this game as much as I enjoy playing this game. If you have a chance to play this game, I'd highly recommend it. It has aged a lot better than any old monochromatic Game Boy RPG has any right to. But beyond that, I'd like to just shout out SCS for having me once again, and I don't really have a whole lot else to say, so thank you for having me, and let's have a hype rest of this marathon, everybody.